Hey guys, how's it going? Richard here from Alien Bros. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. I ate a lot and I hope you guys did too. So, there are two new insane topics that I want to talk about in this video, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into them. The first thing I want to talk about with you guys is the alien object that was just sent flying through our solar system, which has NASA and every other space agency completely baffled as to what it was or where it came from. The image you are looking at now is an artist's rendering of what the object supposedly looked like. Now, this has been a buzz all over the news, and a lot of alternative news channels have also been reporting on it, and I'd like to get my theories on it, but of course, let's give you the facts first. The strange, long, red rock has been wandering the Milky Way for hundreds of millions of years, failing to become attached to any star system. It then flew through our own, letting scientists have a look at the first alien interstellar object they've ever seen. I'm now going to show you a video of the trajectory and path that the object took through our solar system. For decades, we've theorized that such interstellar objects are out there, and now for the first time we have direct evidence that they exist, said Thomas Zurbuchen, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington. This history-making discovery is opening a new window to the study of the formation of solar systems beyond our own. Immediately after its discovery, telescopes around the world, including ESO's Very Large Telescope in Chile, were called into action to measure the object's orbit, brightness, and color. Urgency for viewing from the ground-based telescopes was vital to get the best data. Combining the images from FORS instruments on the ESO telescope using 4 different filters with those of other large telescopes, a team of astronomers led by Karen Meach of the Institute for Astronomy in Hawaii found that Oumuamua varies in brightness by a factor of 10 as it spins on its axis every 7.3 hours. No known asteroid or comet from our solar system varies so widely in brightness, with such a large ratio between length and width. The most elongated objects we have seen to date are no more than 3 times longer than they are wide. This unusually big variation in brightness means that the object is highly elongated, about 10 times as long as it is wide. The complex convoluted shape, said Meach. We also found that it had a reddish color, similar to objects in the outer solar system, and confirmed that it is completely inert, without the faintest hint of dust around it. As of November 20th, Oumuamua is traveling about 85,700 miles per hour or 38.3 kilometers per second relative to the Sun. Its location is approximately 124 million miles or 200 million kilometers from Earth, the distance between Mars and Jupiter. Though its outbound path is about 20 degrees above the plane of planets that orbit the Sun, the object passed Mars' orbit around November 1st and will pass Jupiter's orbit in May of 2018. It will travel beyond Saturn's orbit in January of 2019. As it leaves our solar system, Oumuamua will head for the constellation Pegasus. Observations from large ground-based telescopes will continue until the object becomes too faint to be detected, sometime after mid-December. NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies continues to take all available tracking measurements to refine the trajectory of Oumuamua as it exits our solar system. This object was discovered on October 19th by the University of Hawaii's Pan-STARRS-1 telescope, funded by NASA's Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which finds and tracks asteroids and comets in Earth's neighborhood. NASA Planetary Defense Officer Lindley Johnson said, "We are fortunate that our Sky Survey telescope was looking in the right place at the right time to capture this historic moment. This serendipitous discovery is bonus science enabled by NASA's efforts to find, track, and characterize near-Earth objects that could potentially pose a threat to our planet." Preliminary orbital calculations suggest the object came from the approximate direction of the bright star Vega in the northern constellation of Lyra. However, it took so long for the interstellar object to make the journey, even at the speed of about 59,000 miles per hour or 26.4 kilometers per second, that Vega was not near that position when the asteroid was there about 300,000 years ago. While originally classified as a comet, observations from ESO and elsewhere revealed no signs of cometary activity after it slingshotted past the Sun on September 9th at a blistering speed of 196,000 miles per hour or 87.3 kilometers per second. The object has since been reclassified as Interstellar Asteroid 1I 2017 by the International Astronomical Union, which is responsible for granting official names to bodies in the solar system and beyond. In addition to the technical name, The Pan-STARRS team dubbed it Amu, which is Hawaiian for a messenger from afar arriving first. Astronomers estimate that an interstellar asteroid similar to Amu passes through the inner solar system about once per year, but they are faint and hard to spot and have been missed until now. It is only recently that the survey telescopes such as Pan-STARRS are powerful enough to have a chance to discover them. Now, of course, there is no actual picture of the object available, but the images you have been looking at are at least accurate in the shape of it. Considering the fact that they said the object is made of metal, it makes me wonder what this thing actually is. I honestly think it could be an alien probe on its way to a certain destination in the same way we send satellites and probes to planets to gather data. Of course, it's pretty obvious that it wasn't en route to come to Earth, but I still do believe it's entirely possible that this could be an alien satellite. I highly doubt it could have been any form of alien ship considering the speeds at which it was traveling and the fact that the object is spinning in circles. It is highly unlikely that an alien species would see that fit to be used as a manned form of space travel. However, I'm sure many of you have heard of the famous Black Knight satellite that has been seen multiple times orbiting Earth. For those of you who don't know what the Black Knight satellite is, it's an alien satellite believed to have been sent to monitor Earth by an extraterrestrial race over 13,000 years ago, and it's still orbiting us today. It was believed to have been first discovered in 1954 when multiple newspapers such as the San Francisco Examiner and the St. Louis Post ran stories on a retired naval aviation major and ufologist named Donald Kehoe, saying that the U.S. Air Force had reported on detecting 2 satellites orbiting Earth. The first man-made satellite wasn't launched into orbit until the Russian satellite Sputnik in 1957, so whom these satellites belonged to is a mystery. However, they obviously were not man-made. It has been believed that they have been caught in a set of 1998 NASA photographs from the STS-98 mission, which NASA purportedly denied by coming up with the excuse that it was a thermal blanket dropped off the shuttle on accident. However, from the way the object looks in these photos, that has been heavily debated, and in my opinion is a complete lie. They are the best photos of the Black Knight that we have. In 1960, there was also a report by Time saying that the US Navy had detected a dark object in Earth's orbit, which they first believed to be a Soviet spy satellite, but later determined that they had no idea what it was. This thing had a weird orbit where it would change its course every day, and they couldn't keep track of it. This satellite was truly an unknown, and to this day there is no clear answer as to what this satellite is or where it came from, but it has been reported to have been spotted multiple times, and the government has been trying their hardest to cover it up ever since. This is why we believe the object that just entered our solar system very well could have been a satellite just like the Black Knight satellite is, and may simply be on a course for a location that we have no idea of. Let me know what you guys think this thing is. We love hearing your opinions on this stuff and your theories, so please feel free to leave a comment with your ideas. Moving on from there, the next thing I want to tell you guys about is a major cover-up that we just found out about. So obviously alien truth seekers like us claim there is conclusive proof of alien visitations, which there is, but it's withheld from the public through top-secret classifications amid fears that the knowledge would end religion and the rule of law, leading to anarchy, which it probably would. While many skeptics blame this supposition on digesting too many sci-fi novels or films, new claims suggest that a quick and thorough UFO cover-up was carried out by the U.S. Air Force. It centers around the U.S. government's assertion that it has no interest in the issue of UFOs because it poses no threat to national security. It did, of course, once carry out a series of major investigations into UFO phenomenon from 1947 into the 50s and 60s due to the high levels of sightings in that decade, starting with Roswell in 1947. Roswell has been at the heart of the UFO scene since July of that year, when the military sensationally announced in a press release it had found the remains of a crashed flying saucer in the desert nearby. But the following day, it retracted the statement, saying it was in fact a damaged U.S. Air Force weather balloon. Witnesses later came forward to say there had been alien bodies within the crashed craft, which along with the wreckage were taken to a mysterious top-secret military base, either Area 51 or Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. All the confusion means it is one of the world's biggest conspiracy theories to this day, sparking a number of side studies in the US government dubbed Project Blue Book. The 22-year investigation finished in December of 1969, concluding there was no evidence to support the claims of alien visitations. Once the extensive study which looked at a string of cases and sightings was over, the position was clear. Neither the US government nor the US military had any interest in the subject of UFOs, or so it was claimed. But John Greenwald, who founded an online database of more than 1.4 million declassified former top-secret government and military documents called the Black Vault, claims to have proved otherwise. He has been involved in research that he claims he saw a UFO cover-up exposed. He found an entry in an Air Force training manual received through a Freedom of Information request. He said, "I discovered about 8 to 10 years ago now an Air Force regulation, Air Force Instruction 10206. It deals with what to do if pilots see something strange in the sky and how they have to report it. The rule was a short list of things to look for. For example, if they saw a missile streak across the sky, that was outlined as something they would need to report." On this very short list was the entry "Unidentified Flying Objects." Obviously, we're talking about 30 or more years after their investigation was stopped. Obviously, the government is still to this day interested in UFOs, but of course, we're all already well aware of that. Still, we are constantly seeing evidence that confirms our theories, which shows we are not being told the full truth. But Mr. Greenwald said things got even stranger. He said, "I've worked Air Force Instruction 10206 into a couple of documentaries I did for History Channel and National Geographic Channel, but there wasn't a lot of attention paid to it. However," he said, "a few years later, a journalist got in touch with him. He said, I told the reporter the Air Force doesn't have an interest in this topic anymore, and yet here's a very recent manual that references UFOs. When the reporter contacted the Pentagon for a response, officials appear to have reacted in a way a seasoned UFO investigator would expect them to. He was stonewalled. However, that was not it. Mr. Greenwald said he was again contacted by the reporter, who said there had been a development. Mr. Greenwald said he went online to download the instruction directly from the Air Force, and it didn't have mention of UFOs anymore. Chapter 5, in which Instruction 10206 could be found, had been revised. UFOs were completely omitted. Now the section had to do with hurricanes. John Greenwald said, I thought that when the reporter said all this via the telephone that maybe he was mistaken, that he clicked on the wrong instruction because these manuals can get very confusing. I thought, once I get home, I'll take a look and steer him in the right direction, never thinking that the United States Air Force would completely rewrite the instruction. I was very surprised to see that they had changed it," he said. "It was done within 72 hours of a reporter calling the Pentagon. This, in my opinion, is an obvious cover-up. The odds of them deciding to change the whole section of the Air Force training manual completely after being contacted for answers which they are denied, the mystery is unraveling before our eyes, and they can only keep this secret for so long. We're finding new evidence of this cover-up every day, and I can guarantee you, us at Alien Bros will keep up the search for truth, no matter how long it takes. Hopefully, we will have it soon enough." The final thing I would like to tell you guys about is the current statements of Mr. James Oberg, a man that worked for NASA in the late 1990s. He is claimed to have spent time analyzing all of the photographs and videos which we believed were UFOs, and has said basically that we don't understand spaceflight and that everything we have claimed to have thought were UFOs were nothing more than ice crystals, lens flares, or space dandruff. Personally, I think he's just covering up for NASA. He obviously worked for them, and quite frankly, I think that he's just another poor attempt by NASA to get us to stop paying attention to this sort of stuff and to stop accusing them of a cover-up. With a lot of the evidence that we've seen, and a lot of the images they have blatantly censored, I have a hard time believing anything that this guy says, and I advise you guys take what this man says with a grain of salt and continue to search for truth. If you see something in NASA footage that looks suspicious, then say something. Don't just take them at their word. We have proven countless times that they can't be trusted. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today, but stay tuned because there's a lot more coming and we will have it posted very soon. If you liked the video, then please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out, share it, comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. It really helps us out, and it will let you guys stay up to date by sending you a message straight to your inbox every time we upload a new video, and you can stay on the up and up with all the latest alternative news. If you have some UFO footage or evidence that you would like us to feature on the channel, then please email it over to us. Our email is down in the description as it always is, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for your support, we really do appreciate you guys, and don't forget to browse the channel if you're new and get yourself up to speed. As always, I'm Richard from Alien Bros, and I'll see you guys again next video.